Hello, I'm Sean, chef here at the Blue Plate in the Mission, and I'm here with Pottery Barn to make one of our signature dishes, which is the Drunken Goat macaroni and cheese. So to make this recipe, which serves approximately 4 to 8 people, we've got whole butter, all-purpose flour, Worcestershire sauce, dry mustard, nutmeg, Tabasco, 3 kinds of cheeses, which are Parmesan, the Drunken Goat cheese, and a dry white cheddar, elbow macaroni, whole milk, and heavy cream. So the first thing that we're going to do for this recipe is build our roux, which is basically an incorporation of the whole butter and the all-purpose flour. And you begin that process by melting down the butter. Now that our butter is starting, you can go ahead and add the flour. So now that you've gone ahead and added the flour to the butter, you kind of keep whisking it, whisk it until your roux basically looks like a sandy beach at low tide. So now that our roux is ready, this is the point at which we'd go ahead and add the milk and cream. Once you've brought this up to a boil and are bringing it up to a boil, you need to whisk it frequently. You don't need to whisk it constantly, but if you don't, you run the risk of it scorching. So I'm basically going to add approximately a 1/4 teaspoon of fresh nutmeg. You can obviously use ground nutmeg, that works just as well. So now that we've got our nutmeg in here and the cream and roux mixture needs to cook for about 20 minutes, it's pretty much the perfect time to go ahead and cook your pasta. It's a dry macaroni. It's only going to take about 5 minutes because we don't want to cook it all the way through, because in the end we're going to be adding the hot sauce, which essentially is going to carry the pasta into its perfect state. So now that the pasta is done, we're going to go ahead and strain it and shock it in our ice water. But one important thing to remember is not to let it sit in the ice water for too long, because it will absorb the water and it will get funky. So now that our pasta has been shocked and we've ceased the cooking process, which really only takes about a minute in that ice water, we can go ahead and drain it off, go into our bowl that we're eventually going to mix the cheese in, and then we can move into finishing off our cheese sauce. So at this point, now that our pasta is ready to go, the flour's been cooked out of our little mixture here, this is when we want to finish off the sauce. So we can go ahead and add the cheese now. Heat off. Kind of gradually add your cheese. I wouldn't add it all at once, because it's going to want to clump and it's going to be a lot harder to get it to all melt evenly. So add a little in, whisk it through, make sure it's melted. Now that we've got our cheese fully incorporated, we can go ahead and add the last ingredients. So we've got our Worcestershire, the dry mustard, a couple shakes of Tabasco sauce. Obviously it's going to depend on your own personal preference. And we need salt. So now we're adding all of our cheese sauce. It's going to seem extremely excessive, but trust me, it will work out in the end. A good portion of the sauce is going to soak into the noodles. And you're still going to be left with some nice, delicious, and tasty macaroni and cheese. Sauce is soaked in, everything is delicious. Here at the Blue Plate, we put them in these little crocks, top them with Parmesan, breadcrumbs, bake them off so they're nice and crispy and delicious. We've got these handy little comfort food, Pottery Barn, oven-safe little crocks. Basically a perfect serving size. You can do the same thing that we do. Just load them up with the mac and cheese and top them with breadcrumbs and the parm. And either bake them immediately in a broiler so it kind of browns up and gets nice and toasty, or you can let them sit in the fridge overnight. Very easy, very delicious, tasty Blue Plate Drunken Goat mac and cheese. Comfort food at its finest. We hope you enjoy it.